film as a young actor. I don't know if he'd acted before, but he was a natural, and he played that part with an authentic convincingness, if that's a word, that has helped to assure its longevity. And for those who haven't had the benefit of watching The Harder They Come, it repays the time spent watching it, because it is still so fresh when you watch it. Although the scenes in it, of course, are in the early 70s, late 60s perhaps. I don't know when Perry Hensel started shooting it, but though set in that era, the themes of it, the dialogue, the music are all timeless. The soundtrack, which Jimmy Cliff had at least 2 songs on it, so that's why I say he had such a major influence, because that soundtrack is also extremely influential. I personally rate that soundtrack as one of the greatest film soundtracks ever in any genre. Toots is on it, Desmond Dekker is on it, the Slickers are on it, and Jimmy Cliff. Jimmy Cliff has 2 songs on it. Many Rivers Across is on it, and The Harder They Come is on it. And there's no doubt that that film, which kind of was distributed in a very unorthodox way because it didn't have any major distributor behind it. The way the whole film was put together, you know, Pat Rousseau was telling me one day, you know, how he was asked by Perry and Trevor Rohn, who was very involved in it too, to raise the money, and went around and signed promissory notes with people to fund the production. This is way before GoFundMe, way before. And it was distributed by Perry going out to Europe, to North America, wherever he could go, and getting independent cinemas to license it and show it. And that thing has never stopped showing. It is, if you go to any major capital in the world, you can watch it at any time. And for those who haven't had a chance to see it, I urge you to find a way of watching it. What I would say is, Jimmy's input in that album launched his musical career to a new level. And of course,
what happens if my dad starts Tai Chi tomorrow?
How old is your father?
He is 56.
Traditionally been open to Jamaican music. And, you know, he became a much loved cultural ambassador for Jamaica, in Brazil in particular, but also in Africa. And, you know, he never lost his love for Jamaica, of course. Those of us who love football and were around will have attended the final for the 1998 Road to France campaign at the National Stadium. And on that blisteringly hot day in a Ram Stadium, Jimmy Cliff performed. And he performed The Harder They Come. Yeah. And he had the stadium rocking. And there was no doubt we were going to qualify for the World Cup. And qualify we did. Big up Jimmy Cliff. The last time I saw him perform was on the university campus at Mona. There was a show put on which was supposed to be the first of a series, but seems to have been the first and the last. And it was in the chapel gardens of the campus. And he was the main act. And it was full, and he performed a long set. And it was absolutely brilliant. He had the audience enthralled and in his hand. His catalog is massive, and he could draw on hits from every decade. And no one left that concert not feeling that this had been a privilege to have been able to watch and listen to that performance. So I'm just glad that I'm able to say these words to honor him as a great Jamaican, truly deserving of the Order of Merit, which he was granted in 2003, and somebody whose music will live on through the ages, and whose performance in that seminal film will also. A son of the soil of St. James, Somerton, former Prime Minister, Most Honorable P.J. Patterson, I think attended Somerton Primary School and wrote a superb tribute to Jimmy Cliff yesterday. And I want to pay tribute to that tribute as well. But, you know, Jimmy Cliff's passing was sudden. I didn't know he was ailing. I knew him a bit. I'd been to his house and met him there. Something to do with the music business. I can't remember what I was doing there at the time. But I remember he came out and met with me and my team. And he was extremely friendly and welcoming, you know, when he didn't really know us. So that was, you know, I think a testament to the kind of person he was, because, you know, we were bothering him, but he didn't mind. He was happy to see us, and we had a good talk. So from that personal point of view, I can acknowledge that he was a special kind of man. So rest in peace, Jimmy Cliff, and may the chimes in heaven configure themselves in accordance with your own melodies. And may your music and welcome all of us if we make it there. Thank you, madam.
We'll next take the member from St. James East Central, after which we will take the member from Kingston Western, then the member from St. Catherine East Central, and finally the member from St. Catherine Central, Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, today this Honourable House and all Jamaica mourns one of our most gifted sons, James Jimmy Cliff Chambers, who was not only an ordinary star, but indeed a global superstar. He was a cultural architect who helped shape how the world sees and understands Jamaica.
It's here, the smartest week to shop at Price Smart. Enjoy exclusive prices and one-of-a-kind products for members only. Not a part of the club yet? Now's the time to join and unlock every benefit. Join today and enjoy all the savings of Smart Week, only at Price Smart.
Never says
across my parish and were the feature of the musical instrumental reproductions of the time. So long before data and streaming numbers, you could measure Jimmy Cliff's impact on the way people stopped to listen. In the hope in their eyes could be seen also when songs like Many Rivers to Cross, The Harder They Come, and You Can Get It If You Really Want It, came on. He gave voice, Madam Speaker, to the ambitions of a new Jamaica, just emerging into independence and eager to take its place on the world stage. His genius was not confined to the recording studio. Through his unforgettable role in The Harder They Come, he helped to put Jamaican film and music on a global map in one powerful stroke. That film, Madam Speaker, and his performance in it changed how the world saw reggae, how it saw Jamaican people, and how it understood the relationships between struggle, dignity, and triumph. For tourism, that visibility was transformational. Long before many visitors set foot on our shores, it was Jimmy Cliff's music and image that first carried them here in their imagination. His songs became part of the soundtrack of Brand Jamaica, used by travel agents, filmmakers, and advertisers and promoters as a shorthand for our warmth, our energy, and our unique cultural flair. In many ways, he was a one-man global marketing campaign for Jamaica, authentic, compelling, and impossible to ignore. Our tourism statistics tell one story. Jimmy Cliff's influence tells another. The countless visitors who say, "I came to Jamaica because of the music and the movies," are very often talking about him. Whether indeed, Madam Speaker, they realized it or not. The harder they came, is the more they felt the power of the global curiosity that Jamaican life and culture offered. His songs, played in airports, hotels, cruise ships, and festivals across the world, turned that curiosity into deep emotional connection. That connection is at the heart of why people choose Jamaica over and over again. Not just for the sand, sea, and sun, but for a feeling they first encountered through the voices of people like Jimmy Cliff. One of the proudest moments of my public life, Madam Speaker, was on March 28, 2019, when we stood together in Montego Bay to officially rename the Gloucester Avenue as the Jimmy Cliff Boulevard. I remember looking up at the new sign and thinking how fitting it was that the very heart of our hip strip, trod by millions of visitors, would now bear the name of a son of Somerton who had carried Jamaica to the world. That day, as Jimmy Cliff expressed how much it meant to him to be honored in his parish of his birth, you could feel the love flowing not just from the crowd, but from the city itself. It was as if Montego Bay was embracing its own. Over the years, I had the privilege of sharing many platforms and quiet conversations with him. Despite the Grammys, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Order of Merit, and all the global acclaim, Jimmy Cliff remained grounded, reflective, and deeply spiritual. Indeed, when you walk through the community of Somerton, where he had his early beginnings and had relationships with the former Prime Minister, P.J. Patterson, as well as the Honorable Dr. Harold Blair, Lenny Littlewhite, his cousin, and a number of other outstanding citizens from the great little community of Somerton in East Central St. James. You feel the pride of the community. And Madam Speaker, when we had a reunion at Somerton recently with the Most Honorable P.J. Patterson and Lenny Littlewhite and a number of others, Jimmy Cliff was there, and he committed to working and building out areas in the community. And one of the decisions that was taken, Madam Speaker, and the Honorable Prime Minister and the Minister of Education might have an interest in this, is to name the Somerton Primary School that he and Prime Minister P.J. Patterson went to as students, the Jimmy Cliff School of Excellence in the Arts for Primary Schools. And that is a position that the entire community embraced, and that I proffer today for consideration by our Minister of Education. So to me, Jimmy was not just a legend of stage and screen, but a friend and brother from East Central St. James. His journey from a rural district to world icon status is a powerful reminder of what talent, discipline, and faith can achieve when matched with opportunity. For our tourism workers, our creatives, our young people in the inner cities and rural communities, Jimmy Cliff's story is a living textbook in perseverance and possibilities. Jamaica is better because Jimmy Cliff lived, and the world is richer because he sang. His voice will continue to echo in hotels, on cruise ships, in concert halls, in films, on Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, and in the hills of Somerton, where it all began. On behalf of the people of the great constituency of East Central St. James, and certainly the wider fraternity of friends and the countless visitors who were first introduced to Jamaica through the music of Jimmy Cliff, I extend heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and the fans across the world. May his soul rest in peace, and may his legacy forever guide us as we continue the work of building a Jamaica that the world comes to experience and that every Jamaican is proud to call home, because Jimmy James Chambers lived. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I just want to make a brief contribution to Jimmy Cliff. I had the pleasure, Madam Speaker, of knowing Jimmy personally. Jimmy Cliff, many people might not know this, used to live on Spanish Town Road across from Tivoli. Jimmy, early days, came out of Chocomalon in West Kingston, as many other artists at that time found favor at Chocomalon. But Madam Speaker, I want to just briefly talk about Jimmy Cliff, not as everybody else will do, but his music, Madam Speaker. Rolling Stone magazine in 2023 published a list of the 100 greatest singers of all times. Included in that list, Madam Speaker, was 5 Jamaicans: Dennis Brown, Bob Marley, Jimmy Cliff, Luciana, Barrington Levy. And Jimmy Cliff and Dennis Brown, Madam Speaker, came out as the top Jamaicans in that list of Rolling Stone magazine greatest singers of all times. It is very important, Madam Speaker, that we also know that Jimmy and the leader of the opposition made reference to it, that in South America, Jimmy Cliff is strong, his music is strong. And I don't want to offend anybody, but I believe that in South America, he was the biggest name of reggae music in South America. He sold more records than many other reggae artists, and that is an outstanding feature. Globally, Madam Speaker, Jimmy Cliff sold about 1.5 million albums globally. And he's one of the biggest selling name recorded artists of all times in the field of reggae. And not only in the field of reggae, but he crossed over. And those of you who know Glass Bucket Club, Club Havana, the Sombrero Club, would know that Jimmy Cliff used to rule nightclubs in Jamaica. Last thing I want to say before I take my seat, Madam Speaker. Stage shows was a popular feature of Jamaican music back in the 60s. And Christmas morning and Boxing Day were big days at Caribbean Regal Theatre. And in those days, Tony Gregory, young upcoming artist just as Jimmy Cliff, was a top billing artist. And there was a straight contest between Jimmy Cliff and Tony Gregory every morning, every Christmas morning or Boxing morning, whether it is Caribbean or at Regal Theatre. And I want to tell you, the lion say, I am king. That was what dominated the stage show. That was on the songs that made Jimmy Cliff into the icon that he is today. Madam Speaker, I want to pay tribute to an outstanding Jamaican, one who has placed Jamaican music at the top of the ladder. And of all the songs that Jimmy Cliff has recorded, my favorite one, Madam Speaker, is a song that not many Jamaicans know. It is a song, Oh How I Missed You. And at another place, oh, how I miss you. Oh, oh, I miss you. The roses are red and the violets are blue. But Madam Speaker, at another place, another time, I will play that song. May his memory live on, and may Jamaican music continue to excel because of people like Jimmy Cliff. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
No, Warmington is in the house, so it's English today. Especialmente English. Madam Speaker, I rise myself as a cultural practitioner to honor this great son of Jamaican soil. Madam Speaker, from rural Jamaica to the halls of international fame, Jimmy Cliff, Madam Speaker, was a cultural icon who helped to spread reggae's influence across the world. Madam Speaker, as a pioneer of reggae music, he gave us all hope. Reggae music was no longer the opium of the poor, but a call for freedom, equality, encapsulation.
People wanna go out, they don't say, you see that something, you know. But the things that them have to talk about the hurricane stuff. I respect to the icon, you know, I respect the family and everything. But me I go live on my phone, yeah. This was a good test. Try back OBS and it look like nobody now get the notification same way. So I am just going to use the medium that I've been using because until me get a new computer, I feel like them bug my phone. But anyway, you know, big up on yourself. Soon in a 15 minutes. 15 minutes I'll be live on Bolo and Clips and Bolo and 2.0. And I wanted to go live on TikTok, you know. I'm going live on TikTok too. I'll see you guys in 15 minutes.